welcome to Who the Fuck Told You Not to Subscribe to This Podcast? Was it Legion? Hello, and welcome to Here for the Chaos podcast. Been gone for a little bit. We're not even going to get into that because today we gotta talk. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music. I just released a song that has taken me 5 years to create, so please help your girls' dreams come true and listen to my music. I am your host, Lilac. Let's get into it. So today we are talking about what has the internet on fire. Now, am I late to get to this? Obviously I am. I took a little break, but now we're back and we're here to talk about who the fuck did I marry? So for those of you, how terrible of me. I must have been taken over by a demon spirit. It must have been Legion. For those of you who don't know about the story, where have you been? Seriously, I don't understand what rock you're under, but that's okay because that's why you came here and I'm going to fill you in, girl or boy or they or whoever. Listen, everybody's welcome over here. We're going to be talking about, to start, oh my God. This is why I almost didn't want to film this video because there's so much to the story that I don't even know where to start. There is a TikToker named reesateesa, and Miss Thing has been blowing the hell up. Why? Because she has a 50-part series about her ex-husband. Now, I know what you're thinking. 50 parts? Yes. Roughly 7 hours. Actually, I think it was over 7 hours. And did I watch the entire thing? Yes. Am I going to go back and watch it again because I'm a crazy person? Probably. This 50-part series was about how her husband is a pathological liar. And obviously, I cannot go through 7 hours of lies without losing everyone's attention. And honestly, you should really go watch her, but we're going to start with a summary and then we're going to get into kind of what's happened because of this story. reesateesa met this guy who she called Legion, not his real name, which we'll discuss later. She met him actually on 2 different places. I think she said Facebook and she also said Hinge or Bumble or a dating app. That was kind of the first red flag for me because he was under 2 different names with different information on both apps. But you know what? Whatever. So she decides, I'm gonna let this man treat me right. I'm gonna let him take me to the fanciest of the fancy, to the bouge of the bouge, the finest Michelin star, the Cheesecake Factory. Do I have something against the Cheesecake Factory because I used to work there and it was terrible? Yes, I do. Anyways, so she goes to meet him, and on the way to their first date, her tire blows out, which she later says was a sign from God that she was never supposed to meet this man. He comes by, he helps her fix the tire, he changes it for her, he buys it for her, so she's like, damn. This man come all the way to help me fix my tire, and I'm getting cheesecake? Bet. Let's get married now. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but the first initial vibes were good. They met during COVID time, so they decided to quarantine pretty quickly. They had known each other for 2 weeks, and then he moves into her place, and things get to going. He then starts saying, hey, I think we should look into buying a house. And she's like, hell yeah. And then he happens to say, oh, by the way, I'm filthy fucking rich. I was an arena football player, which no one even knew what that was before this, including myself. And I'm a VP, vice president, of production at a condiment company. So she's like, oh my God, this man helped me change my tire. This man gave me cheesecake. And now this man is rich? A ding, 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 ding. The green flags are flagging, right? So he's taking her to look at all these extravagant houses, these 700K houses, these 800K houses. And he's saying, you know what? I'm going to put an all cash offer in. And now you may be thinking, so she's just going to believe that he's rich without seeing any evidence? Wrong. Stop being so judgmental. Because he showed her he had been approved for a $700,000 mortgage loan from Chase Bank. So she's like, okay, I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm feeling like he's telling me the truth. So he would take her to all these houses. They would tour a bunch. They're finding ones they like. He's putting in offers. And then when he puts the offer in, the sellers go, oh, this is great. You want to do an all cash offer? Show us your proof of funds, meaning show us that you actually have the money. And he would be like, no, I feel like that's very invasive and you don't need to know that. It's none of your business. Reesa and the realtor are like, that's not making a whole lot of sense. Long story short, he ends up wasting everyone's time, multiple realtors' time, Reesa's time, the seller's time, because he does this multiple times. He brings Reesa to look at these extravagant houses that she is going to fall in love with. He says, all right, let's put the offer in. And then he goes, I'm not providing anything else until they accept the offer, which as someone who has previously been through the home buying experience in the past is not a thing, bud. So off rip, she's kind of like, okay, that's like a little bit weird. And a teensy weensy bit of a red flag. But you know what? I've seen the money and I saw his approval from Chase Bank. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it just wasn't the right time or something along those lines. So then he starts doing the same thing with her for cars. He starts going, you know what? You need to get out of your car. You need to be in a BMW or an Audi or whatever. So he takes her to multiple dealerships, has her test driving car after car after car. And then when she finds the dark blue BMW with a cognac interior that she really wants, he says, you know what, baby? Hold on, let me make this real sexy for you. You know what, baby? I would love you to... Sorry, I just watched a new Film Cooper video where he's talking about Shallelujah doing the little sexy voice. And now I've been forever changed. You know what, baby? I would love for you to have the dream. You know what, baby? I would love for you to have this dark blue BMW with a... Stop, you guys. I'm trying to be attractive. The dark blue interior. Fuck, it's a cognac interior. Shit. Okay, I fucked it up. Anyways, so he was like, you know what? I know you want this car. Let's go ahead and get it. Boom, pow, bap. I don't know what that meant. I'm feeling goofy today. But same thing happens where the dealership is like, okay, cool. Where's the money? And he goes, all right, give me your wire information. I'm going to wire it from my company. When it's time to wire, he goes, what? Oh, he went home for the day? Okay, bing. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. The only person that can wire the money actually just went home for the day. And so you're kind of getting where we're going with this. He brings her these extravagant things, promises her all this stuff. And then when it's time to pay, there's always an excuse. Oh, the person went home. Oh, I can't show you that information because you haven't approved me yet. A boobity bop bop bop. You know, every time it's time to time, he's like, no. So are you on the same page as me? Are you okay? It should be noted that during this time, Reesa became pregnant. And so now things are getting really serious because they're looking for a house, they're looking for new cars, and she's pregnant during this whole time. Now, unfortunately, due to the stress of everything, she ended up losing the baby and the pregnancy was not viable, which is extremely sad. And again, why you should watch her explain it. I'm not going to explain her story. During this time, she had to go to the hospital to get a procedure for this. And so she's like, hey, I'm getting a procedure. I need you to come pick me up. This man says, well, I have a really important meeting, so you're just going to have to call my assistant during that time. What? Excuse me? She gets out of surgery and the doctors are calling his number and his assistant picks up and says, oh, Mr. So-and-so is in a big meeting. He cannot come pick her up right now. And the doctor's like, well, somebody's going to have to. Hello? Turns out, retroactively, this man was pretending to be his own assistant to tell the doctor that he couldn't pick her up because he was in a big VP meeting, which also turned out to be a lie. He was actually a forklift operator. He was not a VP of anything, and just left his wife there, freshly traumatized and out of surgery, to just sit and wait. And again, I'm going to have to go really quickly through this because this video will literally be an hour long if I don't. After all that, Reese is kind of getting more and more like, okay, something is weird about you because you won't show your proof of funds with the house. Promise me all these extravagant things, but then when it's time to pay, you always have an excuse. You're saying that you have all these important meetings as a VP at your job. He wouldn't take her to the place that he worked. He wouldn't give her any information about anything. And she's starting to, pick up on some things. Now, it basically comes out that the man lied about everything. He lied about his job. He lied about playing arena football. He lied about how much money he had because he said he had 2 bank accounts and an offshore account. Didn't exist. What he ended up doing was just getting screenshots from Google and showing them to her when she would ask. On top of that, he lied about his family. So, what do I mean by that? He told Reesa that he had 4 brothers and 2 sisters. One of those brothers he would talk to every single day. And it wasn't like a, let me go in the other room kind of thing. He would talk on the phone in front of her like this. Hey, brother. Yeah. We're just hanging out. You did that barbecue? Yeah. You used that dry rub? You know that dry rub goes hard as hell. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell her. Hey, Reesa, baby. My brother says, hey. Yeah. I'll tell him. Yeah, Reesa says, hey, we're just hanging out. No, but what y'all getting into? Oh, yeah. Oh, word? Okay. No, that's true. Yeah, I'm going to be, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, bro, love you. Okay, so it was like that. And obviously, she couldn't hear what was going on the other line, but she could tell that he was on the phone with somebody. Wrong. Because it turned out this man was on the phone with nobody. And that wasn't even just with his brother. It was also, he would pretend to call people from his company and he would be on the phone with nobody. Now, low key, the Oscar goes too, right? Okay, because this man faking a whole phone call. For what? I don't know. But that takes some fucking balls to just sit here and be like, what? Oh my God, huh? I got a raise? No fucking way. Really? I'm getting $1 million tomorrow? Oh, yeah, I'll tell her, like, hey, baby, the president of the United States said hi. And he told me I'm getting a raise, right? Okay, I know, right? That's so cool. Yeah, I'll tell him. Mr. President, Risa says that, hey, you know what I mean? Like, huh? What the fuck? What in the psycho? Not only did she find out that he was lying about talking to his brother, he was lying about his siblings. He has no sisters, never had any sisters, doesn't exist, and he only has 2 brothers. He has a twin and the older brother who he pretended to talk to that said that he don't fuck with that man and he has not talked to him for years. During this time, Risa is really starting to get some alarm bells. She even admitted herself that she had a lot of alarm bells initially, but she really wanted to be married. She was getting to a point where she wanted a family. She wanted to get married, so she was letting a lot of things slide. Ladies, don't do that. I've done that too. Matter of fact, let me interlude and tell you my story with my little lying ass ex. Now, this is when I was in high school, so I was not trying to get married to nobody. But I woke up one day before school and I get a picture, a text, if you will, of my boyfriend at the time's ding-a-ling-ding-dwong. Okay? His little wiener, his pee-pee. And let me just say, no one was trying to see that before 8 a.m. calculus. Thank you very much. But I did. And I happened to notice that it was sent in a group text. So there's another number there. So I'm thinking, now who the hell is this that he's sending his wiener to in a group text? First of all, the dumbest of the dumb, how dare you? Like, you had to literally sit there and type in the other number, you freaking dum-dum. So I text the number. I say, who is this? The person goes, this is so-and-so's girlfriend. I said, oh, really? Oh, word? Because I am his girlfriend. And then we find out, obviously, the man's is cheating. So I decide to confront this man. And I go, so what was that about? Who was that? This man, y'all, I'm gonna need you to strap in because the audaciousness. This man has the audaciousness, the gumption, the gall to tell me, oh, I accidentally sent that to my brother. To your brother? To your brother? To your blood brother? So you mean to tell me that rather than admitting that you're cheating, you think the better option is for me to think that you're doing an incest? Really? So instead of just being like, yeah, I'm seeing another girl at the same time, like I'm a piece of shit, I'm cheating, you think it's better for me to think that you are sending nudes to your brother? Men ain't shit, okay? You know what? And you know what? Not all of them. I love my boyfriend so much. But I have met a lot of lying men, cheating men. I've been cheated on and all this, that, and the third. You wanted me to think that you are sending your nasty little eggplant to your brother definitely takes the motherfucking cake. And yes, I did stay with him because I was like 16 at the time and I didn't know what love was. And all my friends were getting cheated on. I thought it was normal. We're not doing that no more. That's my experience with a little lying ass man. Thank you for this interlude. So she's starting to get some suspicious stuff going on. So what happens is he proposes to her in the midst of all this. And she said it was not romantic. He just slammed a ring on the table. Was like, so you my wife then. I love you, bitch. I never gonna stop loving you, bitch. Okay, and that was a proposal. She was like, wow, thanks. They apply for the marriage license. While they're applying for the marriage license, he has to write down his social. So she's like, detective mode. Writes down that social and decides to get a background check. Nothing comes up. So she's like, all right, I guess I'm just being paranoid. He's probably fine. I'm just making it up. Maybe he really is trying to take care of me and I'm self-sabotaging, which really sucks because she was not even a little bit. They do end up getting married. And while this is going on, her family and her friends don't know any of this because she says she didn't want to look stupid. One day, she ends up finding out that this man cheated. He's messaging women on Facebook. And now we got our first like concrete piece of evidence that this man sucks, at least concrete in her eyes, because the rest of the stuff was still speculative. She couldn't prove that he did or did not have the money, but she still was like, I wanted to push through it and see what we could do. So they gave marriage counseling. And even the pastors that they're getting marriage counseling from is like, I don't know about this one because he's not showing you his money. He's being unfaithful. Y'all are probably not going to make it through the first year of your marriage. So basically, fast forward, she begins to get more and more suspicious. So she's digging more into his past. He had an ex-wife who had children. He was still close. allegedly, with the stepchildren. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna try to look into his ex-wife, because he told her, oh, I divorced her because I walked in on her having an affair. And so she's like, I'm going to see about that. My camera died. Where was I? She talks to the ex-wife, which again, y'all have to forgive me for how all over the place I'm going to be. Like I said, it was 7 hours of lies, and I cannot possibly do this all concisely. It's just, ow, I bit my tongue. It's just not going to happen. She finds the ex-wife's information and fuck. Okay, wait, go back. That's probably going to happen a couple times. As far as Reesa knows, he divorced the ex-wife because he found her having an affair. Now, some important other information. At one point, he told Reesa that his stepdaughter, the daughter of his ex-wife, had passed away. And he asked Reesa if he could give the mother $2,000 for the funeral. Now, that's going to be important in just a second, but I also want to convey that was not the first time that he lied about someone's death. He said his grandmother passed away in 2020 and was even like very emotional, wasn't eating, was crying, was breaking down. She later found out that his grandmother passed in 2008. Same thing with his uncle. He lied about his uncle passing recently. His uncle had passed away many, many years ago. His parents had passed away, which was true. I don't think he lied about that, but he did lie that they had a church. He even brought Reesa to the church and was like, this is my parents' church. No, it wasn't. So he had told her that his stepdaughter had passed away and they needed to give money to the stepmom. Fast forward, Reesa reaches out to the wife, the ex-wife, and finds out not only did Legion not divorce the ex-wife divorced him, but it was not over cheating. It was over irreconcilable differences because of Legion's lying. And at that time, Reesa also found out that Legion had filed some kind of paperwork to say that he was too broke to pay for the divorce. Okay, so this man that's like, oh, I'm balling like that, sweetheart, I got the money, whatever, couldn't even pay for his divorce. She also finds out in that phone call that the stepdaughter did not pass away and was doing fine. Basically just lied to get money out of her account. What he did with that money, we don't know. And this same ex-wife, he actually said they had protection orders against each other because they had put their hands on each other. She's come out in a TikTok and said that's not true, but her son did put hands on him because Legion would threaten the ex-wife, and it just got to a point where she had had enough. And I will insert that TikTok a little bit later when it makes more sense. That's kind of where we're at. Reesa then, at some point, is applying for a new job because she wants to move out of the county that they're in, which, by the way, they lived in Augusta. I lived in Augusta. I actually moved to Vegas from Augusta, and it's trashola. Sorry. She gets a new job in the midst of all of his lying, uncovering the lies, kind of figuring out that this is not a good situation for her. And in that process, she needs his social security number again for her background check. She happens to notice that this social security number is different than the one on the marriage certificate. So she takes this social security number and runs it through a background check, and she figures out some things. Number one, Legion had told her that he graduated from San Diego State and was an arena football player. She found out through the social security number that not only has he never lived in California, he never went to that university. She called and gave the university his information, and they said, we don't have any transcripts or anything saying that this man was ever a student here. He's never lived in California, never even been to California. So like I said, literally everything that he told her ended up not being true. There wasn't a single thing he told her that was true. And mind you, going back to when she lost the baby, he even told his family that she had the baby, that she had a full healthy pregnancy and they had a baby boy. So when she's uncovering all this and talking to the family's asking her, oh, well, whatever happened to your baby boy? How's your son? Which is one of the most disgusting things ever, to have her go through that and then tell people she had the baby and y'all have a healthy baby boy. During this process and on TikTok, while this story was unfolding, people were like, why were you being so stupid? Like, obviously he's lying. Because this man would go out of his way to show her documents. Like, for example, the first really expensive house he said that they would close on, he had already told her that he put in an offer and it had been accepted. Mind you, this wasn't true because the realtor had actually called her in the interim and said, hey, so what's going on with the house? Do you guys want it or not? She said, what do you mean? I thought we already put in an offer. He said, you didn't put in anything with me. And when she asked Legion, he was like, oh yeah, I didn't go with that realtor. I went with my friend who's a realtor so he could get the money. In this process, he showed her a document that said, this is what the seller is keeping and this is what we need. And he had a document stating that the seller was taking all the appliances. So he even took her to Lowe's and to furniture stores, put down payments on these appliances and furniture. Like, the man went out of his way to make it believable. And obviously, hindsight is 2020. If she were to go back and do it again, I'm sure she'd be like, this is fake. This is obviously a screenshot from Google, la da da da. But in the moment, it just, when you want to love someone so bad and you want to be loved, it just is what it is. We've all done things we shouldn't have and accepted things we shouldn't have in relationships. With the second social security number, she finds out just a bunch of other things about him. She tries to confront him. He basically blows her off and says, trust me or don't, but like, I'm telling you the truth. He also would do things like telling her, oh, your ex came by today. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is your ex coming around? Like, you think that's funny, blah, blah, blah. And she would go to her neighbor's Ring camera and ask if anyone had been there, and there would be no one there. No car, no one, nobody. And he made that lie up on her birthday, which apparently narcissists don't like their friends and people around them's birthday because it's the one day that it's not about them. And that is what we're speculating here, that Legion is a pathologically lying narcissist. That's actually why she said she thinks he did all this, because he liked to see her excited over something that he could do, knowing full well he was never going to give her these cars, these houses, these luxury items. He just wanted to see her excited just to watch her get let down, which is cruel and terrible, Legion. Eventually, more things unravel. He was dealing with a prostitute while they were married, cheating, lying. Sorry, I gotta speed this up. It gets to a point where she's like, okay, I want a divorce. So she files for divorce. In the mix of filing for divorce, she finds out even more things. So for one, the whole time that she knew him, she was saying that he was very careful with law enforcement. And his reasoning for that was that his dad was law enforcement before he passed away, so he just had a respect for law enforcement. No, she finds out that he has a criminal record. So he actually took the badge of his late father and used it to lie about being a detective so he could try to get into some woman's house. So obviously he got arrested for impersonating an officer, and that was why he was so careful about law enforcement. He even had to go to jail on the weekends, which weekend jail I didn't even know was a thing. But apparently if you have a full-time job for some charges, you can just go to jail on the weekends. And she found like all of his paperwork regarding that. So he had a criminal record. He also was never a VP at any company, shocker. He was a forklift operator who got fired and then was working at Apple, getting unemployment. Also, she found out the brother he made up talking to was actually a VP. I think he was also an athlete. Legion was basically taking the life of his twin brother and claiming it as his own. One of the sisters he lied about having was actually an ex-girlfriend, which is crazy to me because he would be like, hey, let's go to my sister's house, get Risa in the car and start driving to this house. And then he would always be like, oh, never mind, she texted me and had to cancel. The house that they were driving to was his ex's house. Towards the end of it too, she also found that he was getting sick. She said that he had some kind of limp. He said it was from football, but he never played football. And he was dropping weight rapidly. That was the only part of the whole situation that she kind of felt bad for, because he was getting really, really skinny and something was going on. And she never really went into more details on that. I don't know if he was faking that or if that was true or if he was trying to get sympathy. I'm not sure. But in the end, they end up getting the divorce. She finds out he's living in his car because he's broke. And his family calls her in the interim of the divorce. They go over everything that's happened. The family says that he's always been a liar since he was a little kid. None of them mess with him. In fact, none of them mess with him so much so that during the divorce, none of them would take him in. They kept him on the street living in his car because they didn't want to mess with him. That's kind of the gist. I know I'm missing so much, but seriously, you guys just have to watch it. So now, fast forward, couple things that are happening now. Number one, Risa is blowing the hell up. Girl's got like 3 million followers. She's doing really well for herself. Legion in their relationship had promised her a trip to London and Paris because that's where she's always wanted to go. But of course, the man had no money, so that wasn't going to happen. She has since gotten a trip to Paris and London. She's about to go, and all these hotels are like, stay with us for free and we'll give you flights for free. Like, these companies are really capitalizing on this, and good for her. She deserves to be treated the way she should have been this whole time. She's getting her BMW. She's getting a book deal, I believe. But yeah, a lot of stuff is going well for her. Now, Legion, he's been exposed. Of course, the internet did their sleuthing, and they found out that his real name is Jerome McCoy. Now, obviously, I didn't want to out him, but he's kind of already out there. He has posted a TikTok basically saying that she's lying about the whole thing. Obviously, we knew he would. Here it is right now.
Address the rumor, reesateesa ex-wife who Straight line to y'all. It's sad because it's completely false. And we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But my message to her is please stop lying to these people, and you can tell them the real reason I left you. You cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley, and we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. More to the point, I haven't decided who I'm going to talk to exactly or go on whose page or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know that she lied about everything. Follow her, don't follow her. That's up to you. All that stuff she said, it's complete lies.
Do we believe him? No, we don't. Because she had 7 hours of stories, including receipts, and he had a 15-second video that was like, you know that I ended it because you cheated, which that's another thing. During the divorce, he told his family that the whole thing ended because he walked in on her having an affair, just like he said with his last wife, with a law enforcement officer who used his duty weapon to threaten him. It's just not true. It's just not true. None of it is true. No affairs happened. She found out about the lies and she divorced him. He also says she took her money. Like, sir, please. When he was revealed, the creator that revealed him got a lot of backlash because people are like, what are you doing? Like, you're compromising Reesa's safety by exposing this person's identity. She obviously went out of her way to not expose this person's identity for her own safety. So that creator got a lot of backlash, which she then came out and said, oh, I was doing the right thing because I'm trying to warn other women away from this man. I'm not going to touch too much on that. It's just kind of part of the story. But the internet basically wasn't buying it. And they were like, okay, you could have pointed out the bad behavior of this person without exposing the identity of this person and compromising Reesa's safety, which I agree with because Reesa has admitted more than once that she fears for her safety from this man. And so do his ex-wives. Next point, ex-wife Latoya, who he claimed the stepdaughter passed away. She has made a TikTok. I'm going to insert that. Basically her saying that she didn't want to talk about this. She's a private person, but she's going to. So I'll put that here.
So I'm going to address the elephant in the room because it's been brought to my attention that my ex-husband is out here in these streets disturbing individuals as he always has, and I have been brought into this. Let me first say, this chapter of my life is closed. I have moved on. It's been more than 10 years. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm good. Okay? But after I say this, let's just leave it alone. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to address it anymore because I have nothing to do with this. This is my past life. The book is closed. Okay? So Legion, as y'all call him, is a despicable, nasty, and vile individual. I fell for the trap over 10 years ago. Yes, he was charming, and I was broken mentally. Understand, self-love was not here at all for me to actually love myself enough to understand that this is not love. He manipulated me. He loved bombed me. All of the, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that and everything else. Yes, all of these things were said to me. Guess what? None of it happened. He's manipulative and he literally tried to ruin my life. He had family turn against me because he wanted to tell people lies about me and things of that nature. And unfortunately, he's very, very good at what he does. It took me many, many, many years to get past that. I have healed. And with this situation being brought back to me, it's like cutting me back open. I've gotten married. I'm happy. Been good. But this man is a pathological liar. Gave up all types of promises to the cars and houses just like Reesa. But guess what? None of that ever came to pass. I just need for people to know that this situation was traumatic. I feel bad for anybody that he comes into contact with. And I will tell any female that sees his picture, don't ever, just let it go. Because he needs some serious mental help and he needs to be evaluated and be locked away. And as far as like me not filing for divorce, I didn't file for divorce because I was afraid for my life. In order for me to file, I would have to tell him him where exactly I was. And I didn't want him to know that. I absolutely was not filing because I was afraid at the time. You know, when all this stuff was going on with him and I, there was no social media, TikTok or anything like that. But at the same token, I just wanted to heal through my processes. I didn't want to sit there and have to tell the whole world my business because I'm a very private person and I don't do drama. I will also say this. I did not hit Legion at all. I did not hit this man. He went to jail because he was impersonating a police officer, telling people that he was a detective of the police department in Atlanta, Georgia. And that is why he went to jail. Also for stalking one of the guards that were over where we lived at. That is why he went to jail. So he didn't go to jail because of we never went to court about me putting my hands on him. My son did, yes, interact with him. And my son, yes, he did put his hands on him because he threatened me for the last time. And enough was enough. I was no longer going to be the victim because I'm not a victim. I'm not a doormat. You can't step on me. You can't do whatever you want to do to me and me take it. So I left. reesateesa, I pray, honey, that you get the healing that you need, sweetie, because guess what? It took me time. And I pray that you get the healing that you need. And anybody else, Vivian or anybody else, I pray that you guys get the healing that you need. It's possible to have a love of your life after all of this trauma. It is very possible.
She was going to go live with Legion's own cousin and they were going to divulge more. That live never ended up happening because LaToya said that Jerome's cousin got locked out of all her social media accounts. Am I buying that? No, I'm not. But it is worth noting that LaToya did corroborate what Reesa said and said, no, everything she said about Jerome is true. That is the type of man that he is. Like, no one is contesting Reesa's story. In fact, everyone, including his own family, is like, no, that man is a liar. More accounts of Legion's behavior. LaToya's son made a couple TikToks about how he never liked Jerome, how Jerome always started issues. He didn't like how he talked to his mom, and he did try to nuck if you buck because Legion was pushing too many buttons.
He's a weird dude. He's a weird guy. He told my mother he was like this big time producer. What he did to us, I feel like isn't as severe as what, he did to that lady. But he was on the top of time with the Lion and telling my mother he was a producer. He was going to do this and that. He had connections, all this shit. He played in the NFL, all this extra ass shit. He had a wife and a daughter and they died in a car accident or some wild shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But more down the line, my mother started talking to his mom, before she passed. Rest her soul and rest his father's soul, before they passed. And they was telling her basically the truth. You know what I'm saying? That man is from Augusta, Georgia. His family is from Augusta, Georgia. And the life that he be trying to portray is a life that's better than his twin brothers. The brother that he's trying to portray as is his twin. His brother always did better than him in life. And I guess there was favoritism, you know what I'm saying, towards him. So he's always trying to be like his brother. And I feel like that's where a lot of the lies come from. He had issues, bro. He had problems. And like he would get upset if my mother showed, her children affection. And he would just lie about unnecessary things. But the only problem that I had with him was how he would talk to my mother and threaten her because he was bigger than her and shit like that. And that's how me and him ended up knuckling up, and he ended up calling the police on me. I got locked up because of this dude, man. I got my record fucked up because of this nigga. Because he want to talk crazy and think ain't nobody about it, like there ain't no repercussions to it. You get what I'm saying?
One of Jerome's, it's going to be Jerome and Legion. Sorry, I'm going to go back and forth. One of Jerome's ex-girlfriends also spoke out about she had to get a protective order against this man.
Y'all, I'm only on here because I'm here to collaborate reesateesa's story. I too survived Legion. I had to call the police to get this man out of my apartment in Clayton County. And by the grace of God, the situation went the way that it went because the police had to put a restraining order on him not to come back to my home, my property. I mean, it wasn't a restraining order. It was like a trespassing order. I'm sorry. I want to get it right. That he agreed to. And the police had to come to my home at like 11, 12 o'clock that night when I was putting this stuff out, and again that morning, because I had to figure out a way to get his pathological, weird, narcissistic behind out of my home. Lied to my family. Told my family he played for the Cowboys or something like that. I don't know. And my sister and my family can collaborate the story. We spent Christmases together, like holidays. We lived together, like we physically lived together.
So all of his friends, his exes, his ex-friends, his ex-family are coming out, and Reesa is absolutely right. This is the kind of person he is, and he's terrible. And one of the last things that Reesa said was that it was crazy to her that he was staying in his car because there was a period of time where he wasn't answering his phone for like 2 weeks and nobody cared. He burned all those bridges. That's pretty much the entire story. I will tell you any more about the story that I hear, but I feel like this video is very chaotic and I just want to know your thoughts because the lies on lies on lies just are so crazy to me, and I don't understand what does Jerome get out of it? Because what you could have had is a wife that loved you and you could have started a family and had a very low-key life. But you went out your way to cause so much chaos. And I just genuinely don't understand. Like, I know he obviously has some mental health issues. I don't understand what he gets out of it. It sounds stressful. It sounds stressful to keep up with so many lies and forge all these documents and just, Be careful who you date. Do your research if you have bad gut feelings. And I wish Reesa the best, and I'm so happy that she's like blowing the hell up from this. And I hope that people who are in similar situations to her and kind of rushing into a relationship because they don't want to be single see this and learn from this. And everyone who has been affected by Jerome heals and Jerome gets the help that he needs. And I'm going to end it there because this video is going to be so long already. I love y'all so much. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music. Please listen to my music. Please, I'm begging. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.